On one hand, it's great to get things faster, but on the other hand, it sucks to have your entire budget screwed up because Hasbro isn't controlling the flow of product properly.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Has cunt. What are you doing? What are you doing? Y'all know I had plans for December monetarily, right? I wanted these in January for a reason. I appreciate it. You want to give me your shit earlier? I mean, you showed something off and I have to wait 4 months, a third of a year, in order to get it. That's all nice and well and good if you want to give it to me earlier, but like, it's December, and November are always like super tight. I had plans like buying gifts for other people or managing flights. I don't need this right now. I would much prefer it if I got this as a welcome back gift rather than that of oh yeah, you're going away for 2 months? Well, here, have this fucking transformer that you weren't supposed to have yet. I had plans, man. I had plans. Oh, Waspinator had plans. Yes, I did, Waspinator. Now, if you don't shut your fucking... So I guess why not? We'll talk about Legacy United like a month early. I was expecting, you know, if we were going to do a figure early, I was expecting all or nothing. But if we were going to do one figure, I think the other 3 I was interested in this wave, I would have preferred maybe a little bit more. I mean, Bumblebee, you know, I love that version of Bumblebee. Snarl, Beast Wars fan. Tigerhawk, that would have destroyed my wallet. But you know what? It's only $20 extra, right? But hey, you know what? I'm really excited about all 4 of them. So, yeah, I mean, as a first taste of what's to come, this isn't a terrible way to start, you know? 40 years. It's 2023! What are you, GoBots? Oh, yeah.
Like an absolute idiot, I accidentally muted my mic for this next part. It's okay. It's all part of the plan anyways. Oh, look, 25 steps. Don't worry, it's gonna be only for the box. This figure looks really cool. Whoa. I'm gonna talking about how they still don't have the fucking stupid actual plastic. You could still take the heads off if you're a fucking obnoxious, retarded TikTok influencer. But hey, anyways, I'm gonna take a look at this figure. It's cool and all, you know. It's fucking awesome, fucking great. Why did I forget to fucking mute this? Oh my god, I fucking love this. Oh, I'm doing that thing, you know. So funny.
Okay, and the winner of the biggest sports bitch in the world right now, you. Anyways, I've had a couple of hours of handling this. This isn't my complete first impressions. I'd say I'd manhandled this guy a little bit more than when I reviewed Core Class Sludge. And I think now I have a good grasp on how the figure works, and more specifically, the engineering. So now we're just going to talk about it. So, how is good old Optimus Prime? I think you could probably just get away with taking this stuff off. Oh, crap. So as always, I start in vehicle mode. I don't really know why I do, but I feel like the robot mode is more important, so I save it for last. It's kind of weird to talk about the vehicle mode last for the big finale. I guess that's why. Anyways, I have to say that the stylization of animated is very strong. It's not exactly like how it was back in, say, 2008, but there's a lot of angles and curves that really make this feel like a modern animated toy, and it's great. Definite front half of the cab has so much of the design and the personality of the vehicle. It's not all perfect. He has... a little weird. But you know what? I'd have to say, all things considered, this is a great alt mode. And I already showcased it a little bit, but he does have 2 accessories, one of which is just this. I do remember this in the first couple of episodes. They worked with, I believe, the police? It's been a while since I've watched animated. Sorry, don't quite remember the exact details, but yeah, from what I remember, this is fairly accurate to the character. He doesn't have a gun, but he does have his axe, which is nice. And I believe this is the only part that's actually clear plastic, the weapon, and it's incredibly thick. So that's really good. And you plug it in right there. And really only one of the pegs is used, this one. The other one just kind of, I don't know. I kind of have to make sure it doesn't run into anything, so it just kind of sits there. That's a decent look. I mean, it's not the best, but hey, it makes this giant weird blue patch look less alien and different. At least now it looks like it has a purpose of carrying an axe for some reason. Now the thing with this is, I'm not entirely sure if I prefer this or how other primes have the feet handled. Like, this is pretty obvious and ugly, but hey, at least it isn't just feet hanging off the back of the car, and at least the silhouette is fairly nice, so that's all well and good. And yeah, this is a very clean alt mode. It's very, very nice. So overall, vehicle mode is incredibly effective. I'm going to do some comparisons, not really size comparisons, but just more comparisons with other figures. We're going to first start with one of my favorite Transformers of all time, Siege Prime, and you know what I'm talking about? This is looking a little long, and I thought this looked perfectly proportionate back in the day, but I mean, you compare the two, very, very nice. And as for some other comparisons, this one's going to be a bit unorthodox, but I'm going to compare them to my first figures in the rest of the Legacy lineup. So first we have Skids, who, this figure does share a weird flaw, and that is, it's got kind of a gap here, although it's much worse on the Skids than here. It was a major issue when I first transformed it, but like, I think I got it. I mean, it could be improved, but I think for the most part I got it. Yeah, I felt it click over here, and not over here, so that could be a thing. But you know what? These are both two great figures. Now let's just get the figure that was my first Legacy Evolution figure. Oh, jeez. I'm not gonna harp on Legacy Evolution anymore. It's a good toy line, just really wasn't my thing. But that's okay, we're in the days of Legacy United. Even though it's 2023, really shouldn't, but you know, it's fine, it's fine. And yeah, I think it's interesting that the first for all of these were vehicles. That's why I kind of wish my first one was Snarl, but hey, this works decently well. So yeah, kind of a cool comparison of my first figures for each line. The next comparison is going to be our Optimus Primes that we get yearly. So for Legacy, we got Laser Prime. And for Legacy Evolution, Kimba Prime.
But Mr. T, that was not Optimus. That's not the Optimus.
Well, I mean, he was released in Wave 1, he's an Optimus, he's a Voyager in height, he checks out.
Yeah, but the Legacy Evolution Prime was actually Armada Prime.
Don't! Not yet. So yeah, our yearly first wave Optimuses all lined up, and it's very, very unorthodox. I still remember back in War for Cybertron, we got, obviously, this guy, we got Earthrise, but those were the same guy. And then we got Monkey Prime with, you know, Optimus Primal. But then we also had Core Class Prime. Does he count? But then for Legacy, we got a red and black giant truck, a lion, and then a really stylized truck. If Legacy does one thing great, it has a lot of variety and diversity. It's really cool to see that basically the entirety of this Legacy trilogy is what Generations could have been if it went on for longer than just a couple months. By the way, Hasbro, please continue. I love G1. I'm not one of these people who complains about it, but this is neat. We can keep going with this. Legacy makes sense, you know? Keep it like the Black Series. That's all I'm trying to say. And finally, I feel like this is a pretty fitting comparison, but we have good old Prowl, Animated Prowl, my favorite character from Animated. And I do have to say that while I don't love it in the same way that I love Beast Wars, Animated's really the only other show from Transformers I can consider good. I mean, I do like G1 and Prime a little bit, but like, one is so serious that it's kind of boring, and then the other one's 80s, which is not a good mix, But yeah, it is really cool to have some animated figures, especially considering the fact that I can't afford any of the original figures. So yeah, vehicle mode is overall excellent. Not perfect, but
Excellent.
make sure you untab that before flipping this out. Otherwise, this will happen. Come on, man. Oh, that's right. One thing that I really like is how this front grille hides away in robot mode by being the hinge that flips this down to cover the rest of the vehicle junk. That's pretty cool. The peg here goes into the peg hole right there. A good way of getting this tab into here is kind of just pushing it kind of upwards. Use your thumb and push it, like shift it like this, and this finger will be pulling it like that, so, you know, it's not that hard. It's a little scary the first couple times, but yeah, not that bad. Okay, you want to make it so that when this goes over, you want to, you know, get it in this position, and it should snap into place. May not. Yeah, you hear that? Probably doing something right. Yeah. Okay, so just make sure it's in. Okay, just make sure that it snaps into place. It might immediately untab it. Yeah. There's a plug here and a peg hole here. Slot it into position. It's a little bit finicky, but eventually it will all be good. Last thing is that getting this lined up can be a bit tricky. I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm going to be honest, anytime there's something that it's like, oh, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, it means you're probably doing something wrong. So yeah, this is almost certainly a me issue. But I might make a future video if I figure it out, like I did with my iron hide and dead ends. But yeah, it's weird because you can't push this forward, but also this can't be pushed forward more, unless, did I just do that? Okay, maybe I just did. But yeah, it's less about pushing it like this and more of just getting things into place. It's a bit awkward, but you know, eventually you'll get it, maybe. All I'm saying is I'm glad I didn't have to review the truck mode when it looked like this, so, you know, I'll figure it out later. So, transformation. It was surprisingly complex, but it was also a lot of fun. Sure, transforming it on camera isn't that fun, but I tell you, once you get the hang of it, I'd say a good 95% of it is really, really cool. It's just that one step with tabbing this into here when transforming into the truck mode. I think that's the one step I'm not a particular fan of, but like otherwise, it feels like a spicier version of Siege Prime, and if you know anything about that figure, the engineering and transformation is awesome. So yeah, good job. So how about the robot mode itself? What do you want me to say? Holy shit, this actually looks like animated. I mean, it does have its adaptations to make it feel like a modern toy to fit it with this style, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's animated. No ifs, ands, or buts. That is just, it has such a striking presence. his build is incredible. He's got that Incineroar anatomy, the big, bulky body, the giant, muscly arms, the slender waist, and the lankier, angled legs. It all looks incredible. I mean, let me bring back in good old Siege Prime. I mean, this guy is awesome because he just feels so complete. His form is incredible. He's very blocky. He's very anatomically accurate, and that's great and all. But I mean, compare him to this guy. This guy is a unit. So, yeah, anyone who's worried because this guy was like, oh, he's not gonna look too much like animated. Oh no. This is for sure animated. I think one of the most surprising things is that head sculpt. This is incredible because, like Prowl, he doesn't have the giant chin. So he's not one-to-one when it comes to being animated Prime, but still, for some reason that I can't put my finger on it, it still looks 100% like the character. And I've never been a big fan of the big chin. It's fun, but also it looks a little corny. So the fact that they got rid of that, but it still looks so much like the character in conjunction with the rest of the body, holy shit. This is like actually incredible. Good job, HASBRO. You did an amazing job capturing that animated feel. Maybe a little too well, because I mean, you compare him with good old Prowl, and it's awesome to have, but like, now this guy looks a little out of place. Because this guy, he still looks like, this looks like if you took animated Prowl, but he didn't really look like he comes from animated. He looks like the character, but not exactly the style. And that's all well and good too. I do appreciate that part of Legacy. I know a lot of people don't. I think it's cool. But then compared to this guy, no, this is animated Prime. This isn't the character of Prime from animated. This is animated Prime. So, I mean, is this a good or bad thing? You be the judge. I mean, yeah, holy fuck. They did a fantastic job. It looks spectacular. He's also incredibly clean. Like, yeah, he does have a lot of inner mechanical stuff because of his engineering, but I mean, obviously you can't see it for the most part from his stomach. It's not, you know, I talk about, like, I like when Transformers pull off their transformations so effectively that they don't look like they transform. Like this just looks like a body. It doesn't look like just a bunch of jumbled parts to resemble a body. It has form. This guy does have form, but it does look a little bit separated when it comes to like this. It doesn't really smoothly connect to the waist in the same way the animated normally does. So that's a bit of an issue, but hey, still looks good. But yeah, from the back, once again, very clean, very clean. He's got a little bit hollow bits right there, if you really want to be an asshole. And okay, that does look a little bit odd and right there. But hey, his arms are completely clean. Yeah, I mean, just, they did a fantastic job when it comes to the general sculpt of animated Prime. For articulation, I think it's all pretty standard. He's got the ball joint head, he goes up and down. Ooh. Oh, there's like a hinge there. Can you see that? Hinge. Now, personally, I'm going to bring him in again. I think one of the reasons why I love this guy is he's got a neck. I don't know why, but that just looks so high quality. But you know what? That hinge does allow for a lot of articulation. So he's got some side to side. His shoulders. Okay. His shoulders are kind of a mess. They have this click, and it's not super hard to get out of place, but I fear that this could pop out of place, so you do have to hold the body in order to rotate the arms. Don't love that. Don't know why it's like that. Anyways, the arms go out. It's a little disappointing. I wish it went out a little higher, but it's fine. Bicep swivel. It looks a little ugly from certain angles, but it's not so bad. Double hinged elbows. That's very nice, very nice. And yes, he does have a ball jointed wrist. Technically, it's just a swivel, but it's technically not a ball joint. His waist kind of has the same issues with his shoulder articulation, where it can click in a couple of areas. I think mine was like sticking out a little bit, and it popped out, but I got it back in there. I don't think it's gonna do that, so that's nice. Got one or two worrying clicks, but you know, otherwise better than I thought. Legs go forward that far, back that far, and out that far again. Wish it went out just a smidge outwards, but that's totally fine. He's got the thigh swivel, a pretty great knee bend. As for his ankles, you can pop them. Oh, you know what this means. Combiner Wars Brawl ankles. Amazing. So you can get a step, and you can... Okay, we can't get anything back. Hey, you know what? Actually, no, you can. Can we get the steppies? Can we get the steppies? Oh, hell yeah! Oh, hell yeah! The steppies! That's incredible. And he does have a fairly decent pivot. And, working in conjunction with his hips and his ankles, this is the widest stance possible with both feet flat on the floor.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Supposability overall is pretty solid, though there's a couple of joints that either don't go out as far as I wish it could, or they feel a little uncomfortable due to the transformation, mostly the shoulders and the waist, but it's nothing too terrible. And I'm sure with time, it'll get better, so it's not all bad. For accessories, he just comes with the axe, and like I said, that looks incredible. Oh, it looks so nice. Though, I'm not a really big fan of this telescoping feature because it can get a bit annoying, like if you want to extend it. Trying to push this down, I mean, this is a very tight fit, so when you try to do it like that, it just does that. But then, even if you don't want to do that, pulling it outwards, it extends it, so... Both ways, it's kind of annoying to get it into the hand, but I guess now that we're at it, let's just get it into the dual-wielding pose. There you go. And somehow, I haven't figured it out, but you can get it to where he's holding it in both arms. But I'm going to be honest, maybe it is probably just it's just a me thing, but I'm not very good at it. I've tried multiple times. I'm sure you could definitely get it with both hands holding the axe. I just can't do it. But even without that... holy shit. It does look nice just with one arm. Though you probably don't want it, extended all the way. My Siege Prime has kind of loose wrists because of how he was trying to hold his axe. It was tight at first, but like when he was holding his axe, it got very, very loose because of how heavy it was. I probably need to get a new Siege Prime. They reissued it. If you haven't gotten that figure's amazing. Maybe I'll re-review it. I'll review that figure when I get the reissue. But for you, when it comes to Animated Prime, just slide that down, and that still looks good because of how chunky the plastic is and how nicely painted it is. Even at a shrunken state, it looks fantastic. Let's get some comparisons. I've already brought them out with my good old Siege Prime, and I still think this is my favorite Optimus Prime toy ever made. It's up there. And that includes all the third-party ones, but, I mean, it's unfair to compare the two because these two are both trying to do two different things, and that is capture two completely different but incredibly valid and amazing Optimus Primes, both full of character and growth. Okay, this one's more growth and this one's more character, but hey, you know what? They're still both amazing characters, and I'm happy to compare the two. I think that's the greatness of all of these worlds colliding together. You get to join your favorite Transformers franchises, bring the best of both worlds, and unite them. That's awesome. Speaking of primes, let's go ahead and compare them with the primes of other years. And you know what? Oh, forgot to fold out the heels. That's unfortunate. You know what? I have to say, even though I harp on Legacy Evolution, I still really like this figure. I think both of the, well, actually, this one too. These all three are really good representations of these characters. They're much better than their older toys. This one's basically the same, but with more articulation. This one does an incredible job at capturing the stylization and the feel and pure essence of the show, which, considering it's animated, which is up there with Prime as one of the most stylized Transformers when it comes to character design. Good job. And then this is just just a really good toy, really cool as well. Maybe his line mode looks a little stupid, but hey, it's still... All three are pretty good toys, but if I had to rank them in order of favorite to least favorite, this one's easily my least favorite, but still really good. It really is tough. It really is tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with... I think this one's slightly better but I do like this one more. And actually, I'd say this is a good, when it comes to unique molds from Legacy Evolution Wave 1, the second best, the other one being Tarn. So you know what? That's saying a lot, both in terms of the quality of this guy and this one. And here he is with my two first figures of the other lines in Legacy. Now, I think it's a bit unfair to compare this guy with these two, but it's tough to say which one of these I like more. I think I might like the Optimus the most out of the three. It just looks so striking. But I mean, Skids is still cool too. I don't like this figure still. Here he is with animated Prowl and technically Prime Bulkhead, but I call him Bulkhead because he's just kind of a general Bulkhead toy, which is great. I really like the figure for what it is, which is just a general Bulkhead toy. Made me a Bulkhead fan, which is impressive. But some people have said that this is more animated Bulkhead than Prime Bulkhead, and I do kind of see it, especially with this tarp. I mean, I'd have to flip it around, like, not like just literally flip it around, but, you know, these sections, they'd have to be facing a different way. I'm not going to do that right now. I mean, he doesn't really look too much like animated, but then again, he doesn't really capture that style either. Not really an issue. All three of these figures are great, and it's really cool to just have. I'm really excited about the Bumblebee, and hopefully we can get a Ratchet soon, huh? And finally, this one's a bit different, but I felt it was fitting.
Well, I must say, while I often avoid mingling with the opposite side, especially one with your higher status on the rival side, I must say you are one good-looking bot. Yes.
Right back at you, buddy. Wait, why do you sound like that? I just realized that this is on, Oops! Video ruined. So that was Transformers Legacy United Prime. Overall, pretty great first impression, I have to say. I mean, it's an Optimus that has some of the most character in one of the better shows. And that show has a lot of character itself, not just with the writing and the dialogue, which is obviously absent here because it's a toy, but also the character design, and it captured that beautifully. The robot mode is so striking and such a spitting image of the character who's ordinarily so flashy and hard to fit in, with this incredibly versatile line. His transformation, once you get it down, is really fun and challenging. And his alt mode, well, it probably is the most flawed of the three, just because it has that one stripe that looks kind of like shit. But otherwise, still captures all the character that that vehicle design had. This is a really good figure, and if you're a fan of animated, this is the best of the two, easily. I don't know about best of three yet, because I don't have it. I'm not trying to rag on Animated Prowl. That was probably my favorite figure that I picked up last year, but there's a stark difference between favorite and best. Still a good toy, though, but yeah, this one's just on a whole nother level. So, yeah, I mean, if you're just a fan of Prime or Animated, the character Prime, not the show. I mean, even if you're a fan of that, you probably like Animated. This is a really good figure. So, yeah, this one gets the big thumbs up for me. And good job, Hasbro. You did something I didn't think you would be able to do. You know, it's, I guess, kind of fitting. The past two lines have been criticized for when they try to integrate characters from other drastically different franchises. They weren't able to do it, and they felt insulting because they looked more like they would in a hypothetical G1 universe than the actual universe they come from, which I can imagine is pretty disrespectful.
That's just insulting!
But now, for their 40th anniversary, they decided to tucker down and really capture that essence of the character pretty well. So, overall, happy 40th birthday, Transformers. You did good.